We want to welcome you this morning to this Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, April the 9th, 2013. President Dart, Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself, we have a quorum. Anybody sign up under open forum? All right, our consent agenda, any concerns?
Yes, Judge. We ask that items 3 and 4 not be approved under the consent agenda. If they could be moved for discussion.
All right,
Move for approval of consent agenda excluding item number 3 and number 4.
Second.
those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, what's the concern with number 3?
Laura?
Judge, it was entered on the consent agenda and it should have been on the regular agenda, so they need to be discussed and approved individually.
All right,
If
any
we can
questions?
do that. The first item is approval of work authorization number 1 for NTEC Civil Engineers. It's for $104,796, and this is out of our general fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
And
Aye, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the second item is work authorization number 2 to the same NTEC Engineers. It's for geotechnical. It's for $11,780.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, sir?
Item 4, Judge.
Yes.
Under 2013 bond series, request approval of final negotiated contract professional engineering services and approval of work authorization number 1 as it relates to precinct number 1, 2012 bond referendum improvement projects, flood pumps, East Donna Drain, West Lago Drain, South Mercedes Drain, Mercedes Lateral, approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on January 15, 2013. This time, we would like for the board to consider approval of that contract.
Move for approval.
Second. All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval of final negotiated contract, professional engineering services, and approval of work authorization number 1 as it relates to precinct number 4, North Summary Drainage Topographic Survey, approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on January 15, 2013.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, request approval of final negotiated contract, professional engineering services, and approval of work authorization number 1 as it relates to precinct 2 Radel Drain Alternate, approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on January 15, 2013.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, request approval of final negotiated contract, professional engineering services, and approval of work authorization number 1 as it relates to precinct 3 Mission Inlet recertification, approved for negotiation by Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on January 15, 2013.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, requesting approval to rescind action taken on March 5th, 2013 agenda, item number 37367, as it relates to Hidalgo County Drainage System Number 1, 2013 professional engineering pool. Commissioners, basically what we're requesting is approval to rescind the action on the approval of the pool so we can re-advertise the pool based on the new insurance requirement that the board has asked us to place on them.
Another thing I was gonna ask Godfrey.
Yes, sir.
We talked about the insurance last time. about
Yes, sir.
$2 million per project.
Yes, sir.
Has anybody got any prices on that? Any of the engineers complained about it?
We've had some costs coming back, Commissioner, running anywhere between $3,800 to $4,800 per year per
Per
project.
project.
Plus the subs underneath there will also have to pay additional engineering.
And another thing is.
Yes, sir.
If those projects fall between, we say, we start them in October and finish them in, it's gonna be 2 year on the policy.
Sir.
Couldn't it be better to get a $1 million or $2 million GL and a $10 million excess liability, like an umbrella coverage on it?
Whatever the board wishes, we can
What do you think?
request on there.
Well, the umbrella is always good to have.
But the hard thing is gonna be for the small guys, you know, the
Those-
subs
those-
and all that too.
Yeah, because if you keep getting one for each project, it's gonna add up. So I believe if you can get a $1 million or $2 million plus an umbrella for the whole policy, it would be enough.
That's fine, Commissioners. Again, my request is to rescind, then I will bring back to you some insurance requirements cleared by legal for y'all to approve, and then we'll re-advertise the pool.
The issue is to make it project specific, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And it's because, then again, how long is the statute of limitations? How long do you have to, for that?
4
4 years. You know, I believe maybe the state's requiring, what, $1 million?
$2 million.
$2 million?
Yes, sir. Not project specific, just $2 million.
Yeah, we can get a 2 million and then try to get a $5 or $10 million umbrella.
Umbrella?
Umbrella.
Okay, sir.
No, total.
But you're gonna bring it in,
Yes, sir. I'll bring in the new insurance requirements, get it to your office, Judge, for y'all to look at it.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're interested.
So right now, it's just to rescind the,
Yes, sir. Rescind the pool that we've got, and once the insurance is clarified by y'all, then we'll re-advertise the pool.
Move for approval.
second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
No action on item 5 till we clear the insurance issue. That was a request for the specifications, and since we've got different direction now, we'll wait for the new specifications to come in.
You're talking about item
Item
F.
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 Yeah, yes, sir. Item G, the same thing on the standalone until we bring you the information on that. And on item H, discussion and action of standalone project-specific professional liability insurance for appraisers and surveyors on HCDD number 1 project. The same insurance requirements when we advertise for surveyors and appraisers, do you want us to change that to whatever the engineers are gonna be getting, or do we leave those the way they are?
Now, we need to be the same as engineers, but let me see if I can get more or less a ballpark area, what's gonna cost for 2 million and 1 million to 5 and 10.
Then
And
no
then
action,
just run pretty close.
then no action on item H either until we get further
Okay.
clarification. Item 5, request approval to appropriate proceeds received from the Hidalgo County Drain System 1 2013 Bond Series $84 million. 2013 Bond Series Fund Number 133 in the district's capital projects will be created to account for the disbursement of these proceeds as specified in the 2012 bond resolution approved on September 4th, 2012. Dollar amounts for each project are currently in an undistributed account per project. As project progress and engineering construction contracts awarded by the board, transfer will be made through the board action. What this is doing is distributing the monies associated with the bond referendum, specifically the projects that were laid out in the whole system. These monies have now been invested with through Norma Garcia, our financial officer, so they're out there in investment, so they're not just sitting in an account anywhere. What this does is authorize the creation of accounts as per the bond issuance for the Mission Inlet, for the Radel Drain, for all of these projects, so they're delineated out.
Move for approval.
Second.
This is on 5A.
Yes, sir.
Oh, is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
5B, approval to transfer funds from undistributed specific line items in the following 2013 bond series projects. 1, Rural Drainage Development Precinct 3, La Jolla Watershed Engineering, $705,552. 2, Radel Drain Reroute Precinct 2 Engineering, $293,457. 3, Mission Inlet Recertification Project 3 Engineering, $857,568. 4, Rural Drainage Development Precinct 4 North Seminary Engineering, $9,596.42. 5, Levee Pumps Culvert Structure Improvements, East Donna Drain Precinct 1 Engineering, $135,310. Weslaco Drain Lateral Precinct 1 Engineering, $135,310. South Mercedes Lateral Precinct 1 Engineering, $135,310. D, Mercedes Lateral Precinct 1 Engineering, $135,310. These are the 5 projects that have been negotiated out, and we're making the proper transfer for these projects.
Move approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And Commissioner, associated with this item, with these monies already distributed in accounts, we've been working with the Budget Department trying to get all of the language and all the assets that we're buying ready to transfer over to y'all. So the money is sitting there in account. As soon as Budget gives us all the legal documentation and legal approves it, we can make those assets acquisition and develop, I think it's a little over $15 million to the county for projects that y'all have in your own books that y'all need to move forward on. I have no item under closed session unless the board wishes to entertain one.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Before I do that, on A, B, C, and D, 4, A, B, C, and D,
Yes, sir.
can you just put down the names of the companies that got the contract?
Sure, no problem. On on item A, it's Tedzy Infrastructure for the pump laterals. On B, it is Quintanilla Hadley and Associates. On C, it's Meldon and Hunt. On D, it's L&G Engineering.
Okay, thank you.
And just for general purpose, we have 3 other contracts that we received in our office Two of them are for Ramiro Gutierrez, they're for rural drainage improvements, Alamo Expressway Drain South Floodway, and Javier Hinojosa on the Mission Lateral. These are projects that we received already, that we will schedule the negotiations for this board.
So it's kind of being spread out.
Yes, sir.
Those in favor of the motion to adjourn indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
sir. All right, we've got about 6 minutes before we can begin our meeting. Going to wait a little while. All right, good morning. We're ready to proceed. Thank you for being here this morning. We want to welcome you to this regular Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, April 9, 2013. The entire court being present, we have a quorum, and we have a young man. Well, first of all, we want to welcome our special guest from the Western Road Head Start program. And this being the month of the young child, we are blessed with all these kids here. And we have one of them, Mr. Pablo Garcia, who is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pablo, can you step forward?
Go, Paul.
If he doesn't reach, bring him over here. Dale.
Take boy.
Whenever you're ready, Pablo.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good.
Thank you. Ms. Townsend?
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We ask you to be with all of us as we take care of the business of the county. Bless all the children and keep them safe wherever they are, all over our nation. Help them to have good parents who care about them. Please bless our nation, bless our families, and please, dear Lord, don't let us give up on praying for rain, for we know you're the only one that can bring it. We beg you and ask you please to send rain to Texas. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, any concerns for the consent agenda, Mr. Ofracio?
Yes, Judge, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 9A, 10G, 10 and 10K be pulled for discussion.
Okay.
Need a motion to approve subject to the...
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Agenda item 9A, Judge, this particular project, a portion of it is going to be within the city limits of FAR, City of FAR and City of San Juan. And we don't have an interlocal agreement yet for this particular project or for those portions of the project that are going to be inside the city limits.
Judge, Commissioners, we'd recommend approval, subject to approval of those interlocals being brought back to court.
Is that okay, Steve?
Do you want to wait till you get him, or...
We need to have an election before.
Okay, then we'll take no action and we'll bring it back next week.
Yeah, 'cause this agenda item for payment, and we can't pay it unless we have an interlocal. No action on that one, Judge?
No action on
All right,
9A.
thank you. 10G, you gonna address, Marty?
Yes, well, I am going to ask for no action, but I do want to give a little bit of information. The concerns had been addressed in that the Ultraback software had been asked, after review of their agreement, to change the venue from the state, the laws of the state of Washington to the laws of Texas. After reviewing it, they have a pro forma document. So they agreed to forego the document and accept after reading our terms and conditions on the purchase order. However, there's also mention of a sole source declaration. They were merely trying to confirm to the county that they are the sole supplier of this maintenance and support. In lieu of that, we also know that they have a General Services Administration contract. So we're going to bring it back next week and piggyback on the GSA contract plus our PO. So no action till next week. But I would like the court, because of the new protocol on the agenda items, that it be permitted on next week's agenda. Because if I enter it now, it won't be for 2 weeks. So I will
All
ask
right.
that we be.
No
I did-
action.
No action, but move to next week. For next week, yes. I think I have one more under consent. Is that it, Mr.?
I think
10K.
on 10K, just a point of information, Judge, that the workers' comp insurance is due to expire on May 1st.
And my response to that concern was the
gonna
vendor
use-
has been notified.
Move for approval to.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Marty, the same for the other insurances. There are several insurances that are
Yes,
due to expire.
they will be advised, they expire in June.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to move on to item number 16A, to accommodate our Head Start students.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Karina Cardoso with the Public Affairs Division. Yes, so we have the proclamation for the Week of the Young Child this week, and their theme this year is Once Upon a Time. So I would like Ms. Teresa Flores and her staff to please come forward with the children so they can stand up here in the front before we read the proclamation, and they can tell you a little bit about the activities that are going on during this week celebrating the young child. Ms. Flores?
Thank you very much for having us
Good
over.
morning,
We're very
Teresa.
excited. Good morning. We have children from Western Road. Their center manager is Petra Martinez. We have Sofia Salinas, and they're going to stand over here in front. We have Carolina Torres. We have Alejandro Cabrera. We have Little Miss Buffett. Alejandro Cabrera, Jack and Jill. Jesse Camacho. We have Yabenil Bazan. We have Pablo Garcia, Angelina Vallejo, Stephanie Hernandez, Maite Garza. We have Lydia Mata, Luis Cruz, and last but not least, Emmanuel Bazan. And we have the teachers, Maritza Cáceres and Joanna Gale, and the bus driver, Ms. Olga Herrera, and we have parents here. We have the parents of Pablo Garcia, Mr. and Mrs. Pablo Garcia, the parents. And we have the chairperson of the parent committee, Alicia Alvarez. Alicia Alvarez? So we want to welcome them to be before you today, but to also tell you that we have great activities coming on next week. And this is going to be held at Jose Pepe Salinas Activity Center in FAR. The theme is Once Upon a Time. We thank the city of FAR for accommodating us there for the past 3 or 4 years. And the whole Head Start staff participates. I invite you to come. One of the areas of emphasis is literacy, and we have community members read to the children, and we have a carnival-like atmosphere. But you can observe and see how it is that our children celebrate the Week of the Young Child, calling attention to the influence that we as adults have on children, and remembering that Head Start is about children and for children and for the families of Hidalgo County. We still serve 3,690 children. Despite our cuts, we are 3,690 strong. And I want you all to welcome our children to Hidalgo County Commissioner's Court. Thank you.
There's a proclamation, if I may please read it. Week of the Young Child Proclamation. Whereas the Week of the Young Child is an annual celebration sponsored by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, with nearly 90,000 members and a network of over 300 local, state, and regional affiliates. And whereas the Hidalgo County Head Start program under the leadership of the Commissioners Court and Policy Council share a vision of dedicated services to the economic and social well-being of children and families and are committed to their safety, education, and healthy development with strong community support. And whereas the purpose of the Week of the Young Child is to focus public attention on the needs of young children and their families and to recognize the early childhood programs and services that meet those needs. And whereas the Hidalgo County Head Start program under the leadership of Commissioners Court and the Policy Council provides quality services to 3,690 children between the ages of 3 to 5 from the neediest families in the County of Hidalgo. And whereas these services are in the area of education, health, dental health, mental health, nutrition, special and social services. And whereas the Hidalgo County Head Start program encourages families to engage in family and community activities that encourage children to explore and develop confidence and literacy skills. And whereas the designation of a week of special recognition for the children of Hidalgo County will provide an opportunity for caregivers to reflect on the children's future. Now therefore, the Commissioners Court of Hidalgo County do hereby proclaim the week of April 15th through the 19th of 2013 to be the Week of the Young Child in Hidalgo County, Texas, and urge all citizens to work together to help provide children with the support they need to develop skills and confidence, and to find the inner strength and the will and fire of the human spirit to make their dreams come true. Dated this 9th day of April, 2013.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Picture.
Thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity.
Can you get the whole thing, or?
Thank you for having us, and we really would like to see if you can make it to our Week of the Young Child celebration next week, at any time.
Y sí, hay café, vámonos.
Ah, ok. Ahorita me traigo.
All right, under open forum, our first presenter is Lupe Chavez.
Good morning, County Judge,
Morning.
Commissioners, and the public here. Today I'd like to speak about some policies here in Hidalgo County. The state of Texas is rather clear with nepotism. However, today I come forward before you to see what additional policies or amendments can be added to our laws here in Hidalgo County. I don't believe anyone should supervise a family member in multi-agency collaborations. And I am speaking directly about our county sheriff's office, which is in the news. And, I'm not alone. We here in the United States, we do believe in leadership. We elect people. We trust them with their offices to represent us as the people. And here in Hidalgo County and our sister cities across the border, one of the major issues aside from the drought, economic development, is this growing and increasing human and drug smuggling operations. Now, US 281 and our other roadways are the highway for transporting drugs. And I, along with other people in this county, voters, citizens, do believe that our local law enforcement officers should be beacons, pillars of integrity and honesty, and shouldn't participate in what is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Now, I recommend to you to read a wonderful book. Those of you in the public, it's by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He's a Nobel Prize winner in literature from Colombia. In the 1980s, at the height of the drug war in Colombia with Pablo Escobar, he wrote a novel called Noticia de un Secuestro, which translates into news of a kidnapping. Now, these were political figures, citizens, journalists, who stood up in front of this monster and said that their children's lives would not be corrupted by drug corruption, by the influence of drug peddlers. And we had these young children, and that's going to be one of the major issues they face in their lifetime if we don't solve it now, is how do we deter the drug trade? And there are several options. One of them is, what can we do as elected officials to make sure that our law officers, enforce the law, bite out of crime, and don't take something to put in their pocket when we're not looking. So I am here to let you know that you should adopt some sort of nepotism policy or support efforts by the community, calling on the resignation of our county sheriff. And I do understand that you have no power over that. However, as our voices that have been elected, in Mexico and Tamaulipas and Matamoros and other counties along, other states along the border, citizens have been silenced by fear. Their families have been slaughtered. Newspapers no longer report what's going on. But we're a democracy, and we stand up for the little people around the world. We spend billions in aid to Africa, for AIDS. So we have an opportunity here to send a message to our leaders in Austin and in Congress to say that we think corruption should stop now, and nothing would please our community more than for you to stand up and say we do believe in border security, and the way that we can take care of it locally is call on an official to resign. And I do understand this person has not been accused of any crime. However, professionally and personally, his judgment has been called into question, and it is up to us as the people to say that we won't stand for this anymore. And I do thank you for your time, and I do apologize, but sometimes the only way we can move people to action is to, through the efforts of contacting their local officials. And I've seen pictures. I see people hugging this person and that person. I understand the way politics works in Hidalgo County. I'm not naive, but it is time for a change. And whether it's today or tomorrow, things will change. We look here on the wall, and everybody can see. This is one of the biggest things that have changed in your lifetime, is that we see all these Anglo leaders, and then we start seeing the change of guard. And that's civil rights. So these issues will cause change of public policy. So I do thank you for your time, and I encourage others here in the audience to hold our elected officials in Hidalgo County, our Democratic and Republican leaders, to ask for the resignation of our county sheriff. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next presenter, Virginia Townsend.
I feel like it's old home week. What are we doing here? Nothing's changed. How long have we been over there? And it's exactly the same. Whoa. But really, what I really want to talk about is, why do we vote on things that make sense, that after we get a budget, we say, okay, no new hires, and then we start hiring immediately? And we're going to have a workshop, and we're going to talk about a shortfall in money, no doubt about it. And one of the biggest reasons is because we've had all these new hires. Why do we do that? You all have the power to say, no, we're not going to hire anybody else once the budget is made. If you want to have somebody in your department, you better show up over here before we adopt the budget, because afterwards it's too late. Now, you have the power, and you should do that and mean it. but you don't, and I'm disappointed that you don't. Because we need to start hanging on to the little bit of power that we have. Make up your mind and stick with it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Good morning. Like I say, we're glad to be home. Today you had the children there, and they look so sweet in their costumes, but I want y'all to remember that it's those children and like those children that are going to pay for everything that y'all vote on here. And the county votes on, the state votes on, and the Fed votes on. So it goes on their backs. And my question today is on 7G and 7H. G is election department, is going to go to San Diego, California, and we're going to spend $3,713.04 for this trip. Do we not have someplace closer, somewhere that doesn't cost quite as much to go to whatever type of workshop, or do we always have to go off that far to California? I believe they've done this trip before, and what do we learn? And like I say, isn't there something closer by? And then on H, it's ID department is sending someone to Washington, D.C. We're going to spend $2,550.27. Didn't some of you just get back from Washington? Y'all are elected officials. And if they didn't listen to you, what is this going to do for the county? We've got an employee that's going. Again, I know it's for the census and whatnot, but could we not save money? We've spent enough and not able to count according to y'all. So please save some money and think of the children when you do it. Thank you.
Judge, in respect to the last trip to DC, it was extremely effective. As we read in the newspaper, Mexico is releasing water. So it was extremely effective on the last meeting that we were down there.
And on the issue of the census, we have identified 17,000 homes that were not counted. You average 4 persons per home. That's 68,000 people times 1,500 a person per year times 10 years, which is the length of the census. We have been undercounted and shortchanged about 105 million, and that's what the purpose of that trip is for. To go talk to the U.S. Bureau of Census and make them understand that they made a mistake, and hopefully they'll listen. Unfortunately, not everything could be done in one day, so we need to make different trips. Next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning.
Good morning,
My
ma'am.
name is Opal Billman. Because Joe died, existing law requires our divorce case must be dismissed. When our community property is released from the control of the 275th District Court, the false imprisonment and police oppression of me will end. By existing laws, Joe's heirs will inherit his property and my community property will pass to me by existing law. I attend these meetings under civil rights granted by the First Amendment of the Constitution, which reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. My grievance is examination of this divorce procedure would reveal an obvious bait and switch fraud, which should have been dismissed years ago. To dismiss the case, the judge must dismiss the court-appointed manager, the court's expert appraiser, the court-appointed beneficiary, the court's false imprisonment of me, and make null and legally void the case. My words are not an assault upon anyone. My words are verbal petition for assistance to correct an injustice. The injustice being the violation of the 5th and 14th Amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. Continuance of this case is Veritry. I am here each week to petition assistance to have the law upheld and this defunct divorce case be vacated. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, item 6.
Item 6A, Judge Commissioners, there is nothing to report on this. Report on bills before the Texas Legislature of interest to Hidalgo County. There will be a written report provided to each of you at a later date. Item 6B is a proclamation declaring April 2013 as National County Government Month, Smart Justice, Creating Safer Communities. And I have a proclamation to read. Proclamation recognizing April 2013 as National County Government Month with the theme of Smart Justice, Creating Safer Communities. Whereas the nation's 3,068 counties provide a variety of essential public services to communities serving more than 300 million Americans, and whereas collaboration between the county's judicial system, local law enforcement agencies, and mental health agencies are providing both direct and indirect services to enhance the lives of residents and are responsible for maintaining public safety and the efficient use of local tax dollars. And whereas Hidalgo County strives to reduce the cycle of crime in a cost-effective manner through the creation of programs such as the Alternative Incarceration Program, the Drug Court, the DWI Court, and the Veterans Court programs, and the newly created Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program. And whereas the Hidalgo County is commemorating the month by holding activities and events around this Smart Justice, Safer Communities theme, such as the Adult Probation and George Mason University presentation regarding implementing evidence-based practices in Hidalgo County, which was held yesterday. Hidalgo County District Clerk's Office will hold a 5th annual open house, and there will be a visit from the Leadership Mission class to the courthouse, among other activities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims April 2013 as National County Government Month, Smart Justice, Building Safer Communities, and encourages all residents to participate in county government celebration activities. Dated this 9th day of April, 2013.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6C, we have representatives from an organization called Mujeres Unidas that I would like to ask to the podium at this time. We have Nelda Hernandez, Volunteer Coordinator, Priscilla Palacios, who's a Sexual Assault Program Coordinator. We also have Jose Salazar, Marta Solis, and Marcela Balquinta. Jose Salazar and Marta Solis are interns, and Marcela is a Prevention Education Coordinator. And they're here to read a proclamation declaring April 2013 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I'm going to hand it over to Priscilla at this time.
Good morning.
Nelda, sorry.
Actually, they're handing it over to me. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good morning, Nelda.
If I may read the proclamation, and then Priscilla will tell a little bit about our activities. Proclamation recognizing April 2013 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas the many voices of those who have been victims of sexual violence must be supported and heard. And whereas statistics indicate that 1 in 5 women will have experienced sexual assault by the time they complete college, and 1 in 71 men will be assaulted at some point in their lives. And whereas staff and volunteers of anti-violence programs in Hidalgo County, such as Mujeres Unidas, encourage every person to speak out when witnessing acts of violence, however small. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing crimes against citizens in Hidalgo County through prevention education, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court recognizes April 2013 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and encourages all residents to take appropriate actions and support one another to create a safer environment for all. Dated this the 9th day of April 2013.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Priscilla.
Good morning. I'd just like to thank you all for giving us this proclamation, and just to let you know about some activities that we're going to be handling soon here in the city of Edinburgh. We'll be having our fourth annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes 5K run walk held on April 20th, in which we will have our traditional 5K run walk, and then afterwards we'll have a 1K walk for men to walk in women's high heels. We encourage you all to come out and participate. I will provide the shoes. I do have shoes for the men, so if you all come, you will have a pair ready for you all. So that's one of our events. We also have another event which will do the same thing at STC at the Pecan campus in McAllen on April 16th also as well.
Now, we have a motion to appoint Commissioner Precinct 2 to be our representative.
It's only 1 mile.
I'll delegate it to Commissioner Flores.
No, they don't have shoes my size.
I will find a shoe in your size. I do have size 13 shoes, so you'd be surprised. But by all means, I mean, I welcome everybody in the community to come out and join us. It is for fun and also awareness to bringing that not only does this crime happen to women and children, but to also as men. And to let you all know that we are trying our best to bring efforts and awareness to this topic in our community, to make people aware that there is help for them if they are fall victims to this type of crime. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Una mía nomás.
I can already see Tito on the side hill. How you doing? Good morning.
Very good. Thank you and good luck.
He wants red shoes.
All right, next item.
Next item is 60. We're actually going to take that up next week, Judge, so there's no action on that item right now.
All right.
Thank you.
Bob, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 7A12, there's no action right now unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 7B, I'll have a presentation next week for the court. Item 7C, Judge, Commissioners, I'm asking approval of to process a payment for 2 invoices, A Sign Language Company, 7394 and 8812 respectively. They are for interpreting services. I'm asking this with respect to authority of the county treasurer to issue the payment after review and auditing procedures are completed by our county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, item D is discussion, consideration, and approval of general fund management agreement between County of Hidalgo and Valley Initiative for Development for Advancement. I do believe that there is a agenda concern, but if I may address the agenda concern, there is a requisition that was processed. It is requisition number 234589, and that was processed on April 9th of this year. So that should take care of the funding issue. This is our yearly agreement with VIDA.
It was on this morning, Balde?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Can you state for the record the amount, Bob?
Yes, our contract is for $250,000, Judge.
All right.
Item E is approval to accept settlement check from MetLife Insurance Company in the amount of $798.90, and this will settle a vehicle accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F is also acceptance of a settlement check from State Farm Insurance Company in the amount of $1,419.83, and this again will settle an auto accident with one of our vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, I'm asking for no action today, Judge, Commissioners.
That
Item-
one already,
Yes,
we took care of that one, no?
no, I'm
That's
asking.
why they opened for me.
Right, no, I'm asking for no action. Yeah, we were gonna ask for no action today. There's some, couple things I wanna wrap up. Item H, I am asking for action.
When
This
you
is
do come back, just, be prepared to talk to us about the benefits. to the
Exactly, that's why I'm asking for the no action.
county. All right.
Item H, for the IT department, I am asking permission for Mr. Mariano Manzano to travel to Washington DC again. This is for the Census CQR program.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, in keeping with the directive of the court, I'm asking action for a county representative to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 1425 in Austin, Texas. I am asking for Mr. Juan Martinez, our fire marshal, to be our county representative.
Move for approval?
Second.
And what is that, what's the purpose of that bill?
There is, Steve, you want to
Sure.
brief them?
Judge, back in the 90s, there was a rural fire district created under a provision of the Constitution to provide ambulance service. And that constitutional provision under which it was created was repealed in 2003, I believe. And what Senator Hinojosa has introduced is a Senate bill that states that a rural fire district, if it was not otherwise providing fire services, could provide fire services now. And so this has to do with the emergency services district, which was the successor to the fire district that was created in the 90s for ambulance services, to clarify that they can provide fire services now under Senator Hinojosa's bill.
Okay. Those in favor of the motion is made and seconded indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 8 or HR.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 8A, it's under the Fire Marshal's Office, and they're requesting permission to advertise and hire this vacant position, Administrative Assistant 2, 06, at 32029.
This is a vacant position?
Yes, it is.
It's already budgeted and everything.
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item B, it's under the IT Department, and it's to approve the following personnel actions. The deletions, they're all vacant positions. It's to delete Technician 5, slot 08 at 47703. To delete Administrative Assistant 2, slot 18 at 33013. And to delete a Technician 1, slot 20 at 24087. And then he wants to create an Application Developer 4, slot 39 at 67803, and to create a Technical Specialist 1, slot 40 at $37,000.
Is the effect of this to give someone a raise?
Well, sir, they're vacant positions, and he's gonna advertise the new created positions.
So they were
If
vacant?
he advertises
Wait, wait, wait.
internally, then there may be some promotions.
But they were vacant for how long?
No, the administrative assistant has been vacant for about a few months. The other two are recent. I just lost 2 key people in my department, very
Okay, 'cause I
recent.
figured they had been vacant for a year, so,
Yeah.
I mean, almost a year.
No.
No, no, no.
No, and
They're
it's,
recent, they're recent. I just lost.
it both balance out, you know, with the
Yeah, it'll
delete and
balance
the
out.
create,
I
so
lost my-
move for approval.
Zero effect now? Or not?
Zero effect.
Zero effect on the?
Zero effect,
Yes.
zero effect.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item B2 is requesting permission to advertise and hire the following positions, which is the Applications Developer 4 at slot 39 at 67803, and the Technical Specialist 1, slot 40 at 37,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item number 3 is requesting permission to allow the department to advertise hire for any future upcoming vacancies due to the urgent pending project, Odyssey project,
Move for approval.
and the approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval on 3 and 4.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item C is Constable Precinct 3, approval for the following action. Delete a Senior Deputy Constable Step 1, slot 10 at 43054, and he wants to create an Administrative Assistant 5, slot 23 at 41120.
Move for approval.
That's 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Correct.
So those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm going to ask the court that under item 3 that Mr. Ramirez inform my office with respect to any advertisements, with respect to any future vacancies, because as of late, the protocol that we've established is that we come to court to put it on the record. So given the action that's been taken, I'd ask that the court that Mr. Ramirez just, as a matter of documentation, as the court representative, just to inform my office, when he has a vacancy, that he is going to advertise that vacancy.
You want the action amended, the, they just took?
On item 3, just to include that and I understand the action that was taken.
What
but
item 3?
The B3.
The 7B3, Judge.
Just to include that he informed my office as your court representative.
So he needs to inform you.
Yes.
You need action on that, or what?
If we could amend it, please.
Yes, you have to rescind the action and then
Yeah.
restate it.
Yes.
So.
So,
All right.
Made the motion on that one.
Commissioner
I
Cuellar.
did.
You seconded it.
I'll rescind my second.
Rescind.
okay, and so then the action then that.
We need to vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Move for approval on 3 then.
On the rescission
Second.
action?
Yeah, for
Okay.
Valdez to be notified.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Now you got any
Now,
motion?
but we're gonna
Okay.
amend it by the,
Right.
what is, tell us exactly.
And so
what
the
you-
action then would be to request permission to allow the department to advertise hire for any future upcoming vacancies due to urgent pending projects, with notification to the executive office as your court representative.
That's my motion.
Second.
And approval of revised.
And approval of right salary schedule.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
But so that's just gonna require notification, no approval from your court?
It'll be require notification to my office, and then I will in turn, do what I do with the court as a representative.
All right, next item?
Item 9A, requesting approval to reimburse Christina Espinosa the amount of $244.21 for meals, baggage fees, and ground transportation while attending the meeting with the Argentine Forensic Anthropology Team in Washington DC on February 18th through the 21st, with authority for county treasurer to issue check after auditing procedures have been completed by county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
This already happened, so I guess the claim?
Yes, sir. Number 2 is requesting approval to reimburse Rene Guerra in the amount of $628.62 for hotel expenditures incurred by Christina Espinosa on her trip to Washington DC, with authority for county treasurer to issue check after auditing procedures have been completed by county audit.
Move for
Roy,
approval.
how come these are claims? Was there any issues that?
We got short notice that Dr. Farley wasn't able to attend, so we had to make the reservations real quick. We weren't able to get it on the agenda fast enough. So we asked Mr. Guerra if Christina, our autopsy tech, could attend, so that's why.
Move for approval, second, whatever.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Mr. Officer, do we have a limit on hotel expenditures?
Yes, on hotel.
Because I understand you know, your limit is $100 for a hotel. I mean, there's no hotel that's gonna cost $100.
Judge, I'm not limited or anything. As the Commissioner's Court approved a policy, travel policy, and the policy limits those amounts. So it's y'all's policy, not mine. I'm just making sure that everybody
Okay, we
abides
need
by
to
it.
review that policy because it's not fair to our employees that travel to Austin and have to go around looking for a place that only charges $100, and they have a very difficult time finding it.
I agree, Judge. I've been trying to get the policy amended. I just haven't been successful. Been trying to put it on the Commissioner's Court for review, but it's the Commissioner's Court policy, not mine.
So what's your recommendation then?
My recommendation would be for the amendment of that policy. It needs to be, it's an
Yeah,
old
but do
policy.
you have a dollar amount that you?
I don't have a dollar amount.
We may have to look at that a little closer and find out what the normal or average rate is, and then
Something
you know,
that's fair.
act accordingly.
No,
Marty can do it.
Marty's saying yes, so
I'm gonna call and see what our limit is. If
Okay.
there's county travel, out of county, and then out of state.
Okay.
there's a limit, but they're saying it's too restrictive. They can't locate a hotel.
yeah, something that's
That's
fair.
what the judge is saying. So I think my recommendation would be to take a look at the policy, and I can bring it back, and then y'all decide what would be a fair
But
amount.
meanwhile, we need to pay for this one.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs to be paid.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 10, our Sheriff's Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
Richard Ozuna, Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, on behalf of the Sheriff Guadalupe Lupe Trevino. Under 10A, pursuant to Hidalgo County cellular telephone policy, the contract under the DIR SDD 1780, presentation for consideration, acceptance, and approval of cellular phone requests for data cards requests for the following under number 1. It's approved for requisition 233649 for 18 data cards, unlimited data access at $47.99 each per month.
Need action, move approval. Second.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item B, it's approved to appropriate $330,200 from the unreserved fund balance in the Sheriff's Federal Sharing U.S. Department of Treasury Fund 1228.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item C is the authorization and approval of cell phone upgrade plans through the county's membership and participation with contract DIR SDD 1780 through our Sprint wireless dealer, and the plans are below as follows.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under item D, with approval to process the following, the Verizon and AT&T invoices as claims, with authority for our county treasurer to issue a check, and after auditing procedures are completed by our county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, even a comment on that particular item.
Yes.
We're paying an invoice as a claim, but the question that we have is, we need to add this account into the DIR contract. And I don't know if it's going to be responsible for this.
Mr. Flecha, to answer your question, yes, sir, we are, with the assistance of our county IT department. They're putting them on contract.
Okay.
And we're just doing this on, actually, on the advice from our internal auditor for the
Right,
office.
right, yeah, but there was no action to that effect. Normally, there's action to pay an invoice as a claim.
Yes, sir.
And then action to add the accounts under the DR contract, but there was no action for the second part, so that's why I was
No, that
raising
is
the
correct,
question.
Mr. Flecha, but our county IT department is helping us
All right.
out on that, so we should see it real soon.
Thank you.
All right, yes, sir. That's all I have. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 11, our Health Department.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
Item 11A, sir, there is no action or discussion unless there's questions. I know we're going to have a workshop at 11:30 to review some of those issues, but right now there isn't any action or
All right.
11B, requesting approval to accept the RLSS Local Public Health Systems Grant Amendment 2013-041204-002. The purpose of this amendment is to increase the contract amount by $24,021 to receive the general provisions included the potential need for utilization of 5% for public health emergencies and/or training. The effective date for this amendment is 4/9/2013.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Items 2 and 3 are related to the same thing, requesting approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor, and requesting approval, item 3 is requesting approval to appropriate the increase in funding in the amount of $24,021.
Move for approval 2 and 3.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is requesting approval of the interlocal cooperative agreement between the City of McAllen and the County of Hidalgo, and this has been reviewed by our legal counsel, Mr. Ramirez at the DA's office.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioner.
And item 12, our emergency management.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Oscar Montoya with the County Judge's Office.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir. As you all know, we're about 45 days into the 60-day notice that went out to all the irrigation districts and the cities within the districts about starting to look for the need of push water. There was a meeting yesterday with TCEQ that included the districts and the cities that they provide water for, and to also the general water providers. It was a very promising meeting. At this point, one of the things that got clarified, there's been a lot of talk out there in the media. I know that somebody came out last Thursday, made a report that there was a city in Precinct 1 that wasn't going to have any water in 30 days. Yes, sir. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did. But that's not the case. You know, what's going on in there, there's a lot of misinformation. What they were talking about in the 60-day notice was that we would get to a point where the cities or the irrigation districts would have to purchase push water to get their water. That's what the 60-day notice is. And I know the commission's aware of that, but I'm hoping this is an opportunity to clarify some of the stuff for the public. At this point, like I said, we're 45 days in. After meeting with all the districts yesterday, nobody is in the 60-day, not to this point, and not in the next 60 days of needing push water. That does not mean we're out of any type of wood. We're still in extreme drought. We still need to do everything we can to conserve the water for the future. We need to still work towards sending resolutions. Hopefully, there's another resolution coming out that'll go to the president. The water managers in this area feel strongly that the State Department isn't doing like everything it should. And there is a meeting between our president, the president of Mexico here towards the end of April. And we're hoping that everybody can send messages to him that they'd like to see that get put on his agenda over there. There's no indication yet of any more releases than the one that Commissioner Palacios alluded to. They did, it's good faith. However, it's not going to affect us tremendously, but we're glad they're doing it. At any rate, the good news is there's nobody going to be out of water for 60 days or need of push water. Again, we're not out of the woods. We're going to look at it again in every 30 days. A report comes out from TCEQ. Every 30 days. If I could, I'd like to maybe move. It's up to the court, but if you all want me to continue to come weekly, or I can come once a month after that meeting. They meet on the 15th. It's not as pressing. It's still very important. We're starting to look now at midterm and long-term solutions as opposed to right away looking for push water. I could have another report for you all in about 30 days, unless you'd rather I come weekly.
You can post it on the agenda, Judge, and then they can.
Then you determine whether
So
or not you
continue
need
it.
to make a presentation.
Sounds good. However you all want to do it, Commissioner.
What about the cost? I know there's no shortage, as you're indicating, but the cost to buy this push water.
Okay, the shortages is still there. The point, part of the deal was to look around to see if there was any water to purchase for the push water. There's no way to pin the price down because it's according to need, but some of the numbers I've heard is like $30, $37 acre foot of water. That's been some of the water that has been bought recently.
You mean for people don't have water rights or what?
Yes, sir. The ones who have water rights are holding on to their water, and the point is that if everybody, let's say everybody were to go over there and start buying all this push water up, if we don't get a rain event or we don't get the water we need from Mexico, then that water is going to become important to us later. So there's a manipulation.
Is there any way somebody can start drilling some reserve wells close to those cities?
The cities are currently looking at that. They're looking at various things. They're looking at the interconnects that they have existing that they used in the past. They're looking at old wells that they have. They've engaged studies. Quite frankly, the cities that are mainly affected, the Awasud, that area, they're pretty good for a good while.
Yeah, I think they're drilling some around 3 Mile Line.
Yes, sir. They're drilling wells. They're looking at interconnect. All the districts are working very well to take advantage as much as they can. You guys are really kind of out of the woods. Y'all do need to look at the midterm and long-term stuff. The District 9, which is in the Precinct 1 area, they're moving a little faster to look at interconnects that they had in the past, drilling wells. There's some costs associated with that. And they've actually asked our office to talk to the Commissioner's Court. This was yesterday, so I'll be sending out an email to you all here to start looking at funding sources that they may need help with. But they are looking at drilling. They're looking at talking to the neighboring districts about, sharing water without having to purchase it. Give me some now, I'll give you some rights later when we get more water, that kind of stuff. And the whole idea is try to avoid buying push water as long as possible because of the cost. But they are looking at wells, they're looking at interconnects, and they're looking at ILAs between each other and stuff like that to share the water.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next item, 13, facilities management. All right. '14, urban county.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item A is on behalf of the City of Mercedes requesting the authority to purchase a Toddler's Choice Model 3 primary in-ground, which is playground equipment for their HEB park. This is through the Park Place Recreation Designs, contract number 346-10, and it's going to be part of the Texas Buy Board. The amount of the purchase is $3,102.10.
That HEB Park is part of the city?
Yes.
All right.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is on behalf of Precinct 3, requesting the approval of Amendment Number 3 to the existing contract agreement for professional services with Hinojosa Engineering, contract number 5006-0893, 0311, 5000-9300. The amendment will modify the scope of work and increase the contract fee by $8,494. And this is for the street improvement project on Mile 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is requesting the approval of a budget and program amendment for the City of Edcouch, years 24 and 25. This is to their work plan. The amendment will delete the sidewalk activities, increase funding for the water sewer improvement activity, delete the current scope of work, and include a new scope of work which calls for the installation of a new SCADA system with permanent electrical wiring, conduit for pumps, motor controllers, clarifiers.
Move for approval.
Move. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And thank you, that's all we have.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 18.
Is it 15A?
Oh, I'm sorry, 17. Apologize.
15.
Oh, I thought we had
15.
already done, no, we did not.
No, we did 16.
Yes, item 15.
Good morning, Melanie here on behalf of Ms. Ramon. On item A, approval of the appointment of members for Hidalgo County Vote Centers Committee based on recommendations for judges and commissioners. Rosie just handed out an updated list. All the names in black have already been approved last week, but we have 2 in red that were added on
Yep.
after the approval.
Can we still add an alternate one? Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. I wanna put Mari Gutierrez.
Mari Gutierrez?
Yeah.
Okay, under which?
Is
Precinct
that
one.
in addition?
No, an alternate.
An
Oh, an
alternate.
alternate. So move for approval
Yes.
of the list?
Yeah.
To add Mari Gutierrez as an alternate?
Second.
Precinct one?
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 2, requesting approval to accept donations from the Advocacy Alliance Center of Texas in the amount of $500 for fees to be paid to use the Edinburgh Conference Center at Renaissance on April 17, 2013 for Vote Center's workshop presentation by Lubbock County.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And just a quick reminder, the second sheet that y'all have behind the list, it's the Hidalgo County Elections Department Workshop for Commissioners Court by Lubbock County officials on April 17, 2013 at 10 a.m. at the Edinburgh Conference Center at Renaissance, 118 Paseo de Prado, Edinburgh, Texas. And if you haven't already responded about attending the workshop, please contact Amanda Valdez at the Elections Department. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge Commissioners, just be sure to post that workshop.
Yeah. In case there's a quorum.
Yes.
Anybody listening?
Monica,
Monica, did you hear that? Seeming
All
good.
right.
Learn.
our auditor's office.
Judge, we need to certify revenues for TxDOT project Mile 6 West. So the agenda item that we have there is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for TxDOT project Mile 6 West and approval of the appropriation of funds for the same project in the amount of $6,962.78.
Move for approval on 17A1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 18, our planning. What, he's not, I mean, let's
I
see,
sit
what
at
is he?
at the Edinburgh building.
Still waiting.
Waiting for us.
Everybody's late.
Let's go back to that one.
Yeah, we'll come back to it, item 18.
Was the location changed in the advertiser? I know it was on the agenda, but,
Mingo.
huh? It was in that?
All right, item 19, precinct 3.
Guess I didn't get the
Mr.
name.
Garza.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning.
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
I was
Villarreal.
reading the name of the street and it came out that way.
Yes, no problem. Again, good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Item 19A, requesting approval to change the name of 6th Street in Los Sebanos, Texas. This is not Los Sebanos Road. It's Los Sebanos, Texas to Jose D. Garza Street.
Move for approval.
Second.
Is this for 911 purpose, Bingo, or just?
Yes, sir, Commissioner, and he's a veteran.
All right, thank you.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 20, our budget.
You want him in purchase?
Morning, Judge, Commissioner, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 20A, 1 and 2, will take no action. We need to amend the interlocal for that project, so we'll bring that back when we bring the amendment to that interlocal as
All
well.
right, item B.
Item 20B1 is approval of 2013 appropriation of funds for the Precinct 2 South Tower Estates project, Program 88, in the amount of $478,212.19.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Purchasing, Marty?
Good morning, Martha Salazar. Let me just give you some background information on a point of discussion earlier on travel. Right now, for in Texas travel, our rate is $115 plus tax.
115?
$115 plus tax. We're $15 over, I think, the government rate. Now, we'd have generally no problem getting those rates if the trip is planned in advance, especially because wherever there's seminars, there's blocks of rooms. But if too much time lapses and then someone needs to travel to that seminar, those rooms are already booked, so it gets more expensive. But there is some difficulty, especially when it's a short-term notice. Now, for out-of-Texas travel, we permit for unexpected, like a trip that has to be that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
That's when you have difficulty getting something for that amount. Now, on your out-of-Texas travel, it's $300 plus tax. Again, the problem being that some of these trips are not booked in advance with enough time, and the blocks of rooms are usually then booked, and so that's when we have trouble.
We do that and just get it,
But generally, if there is enough notice,
Yeah, and
we
also
can accommodate
And
it.
also the other issue, Marty, is folks want a hotel within walking distance.
Right, that's
And it's
another.
also difficult to get them.
Yeah, those, a lot of times, they don't want it anywhere, they want the host hotel. But like I say, to attain that at the rate we permit, you have to do it with the block of rooms that's set aside. Yes, nobody wants to either pay a cab or
Or also, I get requests for a specific hotel.
a lot of five-star
Exactly.
hotels are preferred,
They're
but
not
that's not.
$100 or $150.
There's no $100 room unless you want to stay in the maintenance quarters, I guess. But
And then they'll file a claim for some sort of illness or scabies or.
right, but yes, they did the test with the ultraviolet. In any case, I just wanted to report that to
Well,
you.
why don't you come back next week with a figure as to a recommendation?
I'll try to
recommended
figure out
amount.
some kind of an average
Yeah,
that
it's
we're.
what fair, something that's fair to everybody.
Judge, what I would suggest is let's revisit the entire policy instead of just that particular item, because the policy needs to be amended.
The policy gets difficult in this respect that, like I say, there are times when the users are not giving us enough time. And so that's when you run into this problem that the block of rooms is booked. They don't want to walk, they want it close by, so they still want it at the host hotel. But then what we report to them is, okay, you're going to stay here, it's going to be a $300 room, but we only permit $115 because you don't want to walk, you don't want it to be far away. So I'll bring you some suggestions on what we've been encountering in booking
All right,
travel.
and look at the policy language that Mr. Uplacha is talking about.
No, I think, no, I'm talking about the policy as a whole, not so much just as it relates to lodging.
Exactly.
There's other sections that need to be amended.
Correct, to be
All right,
visited.
go ahead and proceed with the agenda.
Okay, yes. Nothing to report on 21A, 1, 2, A, B, and C, respectively. Let's go to item 3. Presentation of bids received as detailed and attached herein for the purposes of award and and contract document with the vendor meeting all specifications and requirements. That is roadway light fixtures. We had 22 packets requested or sent out. We have 2 bids that were received, but only one of them qualified, and that was Lumitech. There was also a concern that legal's approval of the contract had not been attached. It was attached yesterday, and so that has been taken care of.
That's on 3.
That's
Three.
number 3.
That's Lumitech.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 and 5 are 2 items from last week. This is the sole bid received as detailed in the tabulation sheet, and that is for hot mix co-laid road material. That is, as I had reported, 6 packets were sent out, 1 bid was received, and that is to Frontera La Jolla plant.
Move for approval.
Marty,
Second.
when,
Those
we're
in
talking
favor?
about the documents that were,
Those have been corrected, Mr.
have been corrected, the
Yes,
dates?
and loaded up
We
this
have some
morning.
dates that were.
Yes, because they were just merely moved
Right,
from one, and
So
so
all
it
the
still
dates
has
have
a
been-
second. Those have been taken care of, including 5.
thank you.
Item
Presentation of
21.
multiple bids. Oh, I'm sorry.
Think that way.
We need to vote on 4.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On item 5, this is presentation of the multiple bids received as detailed in the tabulation sheet. This is for the Type D hot mix asphalt, gravel, and limestone. There were 6 packets, 2 bids were received, Frontera and Valley Caliche, limestone and gravel, and the contracts will specify which ones go to which in the contracts. Also,
approval.
that
Second.
date has been corrected.
There's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There were a couple of dates, were Marty, on that? April 2nd
Yes.
and April 7th?
Yes, they're
Those need to be-
now the 9th, effective the 9th.
Thank you.
Okay, requesting exemption from Texas Local Government Code on number 6, 262-02484, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of those firms graded and evaluated for the service of schematic design phase for new Hidalgo County Courthouse facility. The 4 firms were Alcocer and Garcia, Janak, ERO, and Dannenbaum. You have the average scores, I'm sorry, give me a second here, I need to flip over to it.
Marty, I was wondering
Oh.
if the issue that I raised a while back, have you researched that?
I researched what?
ERO.
The fact that ERO
ERO is the
could be
highest, the
considered-
highest rank, yeah. And they developed the schematics and they developed some documentation for
They
the. for this
developed
project.
a master plan,
Right,
which included parts for the city
Correct.
and the county together.
Right.
But it doesn't although it is information that could possibly affect the selection of where it's put, it had nothing directly to do with the schematic for a courthouse, for an
Right.
actual building.
my question, have you researched that and see if the,
I don't believe,
What
I've
you-
discussed it with legal counsel at one point, and I do not see a conflict.
okay.
Well, we
All
have to
right.
do is approve it subject to legal, right?
Right, but we'd already discussed it.
Yeah, tell
Okay.
Here, no problem?
I'll stick on it.
I don't see,
All right.
there should, okay, so here are your scores. Alcocer and Garcia at 79.80. You have Janak at 91.20, ERO at 98, and Dannenbaum at 87. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of the
Yes.
scores?
Move for approval.
Approve.
There's motion second to accept the rankings. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next is authority to negotiate a professional architectural services contract with the number 1 rank, and that's ERO.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On item 7, and let me start by also addressing a concern by the auditor. In this case, I have added to the agenda an attachment which shows that legal counsel and through her direction to our staff has asked Denton County for the FMV value of those machines. Acceptance and approval, A, of the interlocal cooperation agreement between Denton County, Texas and Hidalgo County, Texas for the purposes to transfer 2 surplus ballot cabinets to Hidalgo County in accordance with Local Government Code 263-152.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance by Hidalgo County of the donation by Denton County. Also, and we're gonna wait for them to send us the fair market value of those 2 ballot cabinets.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8, this is approval to correct an error in awarding bids for contract number C20513 to Rio Valley Pipes and LR. What we're doing is asking the court just to substitute a new Exhibit B. Inadvertently, we did not specify the lowest bid in the Category B inlets type CC, and we're merely correcting that. It's now, it is now 11 for one company and 6 for another. And it is now correct. We inadvertently gave it all to one company, and it should have been individual sizes to each one, just in one category.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B1, and this is for precinct 2. We're requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 with an estimated cost of $20,280 for Rancho Blanco Road, 1/4 mile east of Alamo Road to Tower Road, as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering. New contract number 12314.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 2 for precinct 2 is requesting authority to advertise with approval of the packet developed by project engineer Raul Cecin, PE, Hidalgo County Planning Department, for precinct 2's Little Mexico subdivision and South Tower Estates paving and drainage project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, that's all I have.
We still have that,
The planning department.
planning department. Anybody took care of it? Anybody call?
Probably can't find it.
Go to executive session, come back.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to, there's somebody,
It's just a release of credit and a.
Valde?
yeah, let's go ahead and proceed to 551-071 and 072. Need a motion to proceed
for
to
approval.
executive session.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay,
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Under 23A, Real Estate Acquisition Appropriation, same, no action. 23B, pending and or potential litigation, no action. Item 23C, claim of Jose Morin, Judge Commissioners. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $100.
Move for approval.
Second.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 23D, claim of Meraldo Martinez, Judge Commissioners. Again, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $325.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, claim of Victor Garcia, Judge Commissioners. Again, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $9,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Well, is that payment gonna be made directly to the individual, Victor? There's no attorneys involved in that?
There's no attorneys involved.
All right, thank you.
Item F, Hidalgo County versus Real Estate Network, we will proceed as directed. Item G, claim of Brian Valadez, again, we will proceed as directed. Item H, claim of Robert Gibb, we will proceed as directed.
Did I just do that?
No, it's just been from the court. Judge, Commissioners, we still have a pending item, which is for the Planning Department.
Right.
Morning, Judge,
Okay, under
Commissioner.
planning,
Yes, sir.
Nassim, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. We have the release letter credit replaced with cash deposit, Las Estrellas number 4 subdivision, precinct 3. Essentially, they're requesting to release the pending letter of credit of $78,000 and replace it with cash deposit, and that has already been deposited in the account for the septic tanks, and that's already approved and ready to go, so we recommend approval, sir.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the next item is reimbursement cash deposit Los Feliz Phase 1 subdivision. They're requesting the release of cash in the amount of $11,998 for the excavation of the detention areas, which have been constructed. My office has conducted the inspections. Everything's in order for the release.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We are now adjourned, and thank you for being present at this meeting.